Once again, it's time for the Team Lift podcast with your hosts, Brendan Bowie and Roderick McDaniel. Let's go ahead and get right into the show.
No, there's no counting. There's no counting down.
So you didn't even want to count this episode in.
Done.
You're just like, fuck it, we're starting.
I'm fucking, I'm so fucking done.
All right, so let's just get into it. I mean, because we've been sitting here talking and you decided, fuck it, we got to record this. All right, so you want to get it off your chest? You want to just say, do I even need to preface this?
No. I mean, okay, so a while ago we talked about the Bethesda lawsuit against Oculus and how the lawsuit was basically saying to some extent that Palmer Luckey could not have done the things in VR that he's done on his own, and that he needed Carmack's help because he was basically not smart enough to fucking do it himself.
And we've talked about this.
And current actions lead me to believe that that's correct.
Okay, I cannot deny, and I've said it off record, and I'm gonna say it on record. The guy seems like a freaking idiot. Okay,
he does dumb shit,
but that's my thing. Here's my thing: you could be an absolutely smart guy and be very wealthy and just make a lot of dumb decisions. Donald Trump has taught us this. Donald Trump is very wealthy.
He's not very wealthy.
Well,
I'm not even going to get into that, but we
won't get into that. But he's done some things. Not all of his business decisions have worked out. In fact, they've more failed than have been successful. But he's still made a nice little pretty penny on that. But still, nevertheless, he says and does some dumb shit every now and then. Palmer Luckey is now on my list of billionaires or near billionaires who are very
fucking retarded.
Possible.
Should not have the money that they have, and I don't know how the fuck he managed this. So what it seems like to me is it seems like Palmer Luckey is exactly that. He got lucky. He happened to be wanting to do something in an area that somebody who's a billion times smarter than him also wanted to do, and he managed to rile up enough press about him doing it that he got this guy interested, John Carmack. Mm-hmm. And John Carmack basically did everything. I really believe that. I really believe it. Because if you're fucking stupid enough to think in this day and age that you can throw money behind a group of fucking idiots who are going to make anti-Hillary memes and pro-Trump memes on the internet, but you're going to vote for third party. So you're essentially pro-Trump because you don't like Hillary, but you're not going to vote for Trump. You're going to vote for third party. That's a bunch of fucking horseshit. Fuck him. All he's doing is giving virtual reality a bad name at this point. You know what? He didn't even show up at Oculus Connect this year because he didn't want to be a quote-unquote distraction from what they were going to be talking about.
Do you think he didn't show up or he was asked not to show up?
I think he was asked not to show up.
Because that's really my question. Anytime they say, well, he's not showing up, was he asked not to show up or did he just not show up?
He was fucking asked not to show up. I guarantee it. I have a feeling that his CTO, his second in command, was like, you need to fucking go.
Don't
away.
Be at this.
But, I mean, there's no reason for him to be there. He's not doing any of the fucking research that's actually going on in Oculus anymore. If you're in the CEO position, you're not doing anything other than being a CEO. You don't have fucking time to sit around and fucking invent or code or do any of the things that are actually getting Oculus to where it is. He's basically at best a figurehead, and now he's a figurehead that just got pulled out of Caesar's ass.
You really are okay. I think it's on this show we've been pretty much pro Vive.
Yeah,
we're pro Vive. We've showed numbers that Steam
Dev Days was this weekend, and they're showing on their side of things that they're having 1,000 Vives added to Steam a week, or it was either a week or a day, one of the two.
Jesus.
But it's growing pretty fucking fast. So anybody who thinks that fucking VR is like a dead technology or it's gonna die can go and fuck themselves because they're dead wrong. It's not going anywhere.
I think the more affordable it becomes,
mm-hmm.
the more people that are going to jump onto it. And that's just, it's just part of the facts of the matter. But still, Palmer Luckey, I can tell the more that you get into this story, that man, you just don't like this guy. And he's not very likable. Let's just be honest. He does things that I just sit there and just go, I'm really not quite sure I get your thought process, and I don't have to understand your thought process. I mean, it's your thought process, but it is a goofy one at that.
It's like even a year ago, there was a point in time where he was tweeting on the internet like a fucking idiot. He was making tweets that were basically like him talking out of his ass, and then later saying, well, I'm just going to say whatever I want to, and then if something changes later, then so be it, rather than taking the high road of like not fucking saying anything. That way you don't do what No Man's Sky did and promise the fucking moon and then not be able to deliver, because that's essentially what he's done. Like, he originally said the Rift was only going to be $350. Guess how much it is now? $600 plus $200 for the second camera, and then the touch controllers. And then if you want actual true room scale, because you can't do it with just 2 cameras, you've got to have 3 cameras. You got to pay another $79, and then you have to pay shipping on all of it. Actually, no, wait, I take that back. They did just recently take the shipping costs off of everything that you order off of the Oculus website, but still, the Vive is $799 and it's a complete system. The Oculus, you have to make 3 separate purchases in order to get all the things for it, and those 3 separate purchases put you at $879.
I'm
now,
done.
tell me who has the superior tracking system now? I could do with 2 lighthouses what they can't do with 2 cameras. They have to have a 3rd camera to look at you from the back. Fuck Oculus. That's going to be the name of this episode. I really had
to let you get this.
It's just going to be Fuck Oculus. That's the name of this episode. Just Fuck Oculus.
You've already named the episode. We're just getting into it. Dang. Okay. Is there anything else you want to get off your chest about here? Because you have been so upset about this guy. Like, you have a hatred for him that I'm not saying it's not deserved. I'm just saying it's a blatant hatred of the man.
It's just like a couple of years ago, I didn't not like him.
Yeah, no,
but I really didn't care. I was like, yay, somebody's doing VR. That's cool. Now it's like, why the fuck did it have to be this guy? I mean, the first sign that he was a piece of shit was when he sold the fucking company to Facebook. That was the first fucking sign that he was a piece of shit.
But you like Zuckerberg.
I fucking hate him.
Come on, man.
He considers everybody who gives him their personal information idiots. He's publicly stated that. There's a reason why I don't post any personal information on fucking Facebook at all. I have my name on there, but that's about it. Like, they can infer where I live based on where I log in from, but like, I do not do anything but just put fucking memes and links to stupid shit on Facebook, because I don't want them to have my personal info. I don't have my phone number connected to it. If I could get rid of it tomorrow, I would.
Yeah, my phone number's not on my account. There's no way anybody's finding me by my... I don't set up anything by my phone number. Not even my Google account set up by my phone number. You know how you can recover it? Nope.
Oh, no. See, I've got that stuff on mine, because I actually have the authenticator on all of my Google accounts.
No, I got if I have to recover an account, it has to go to the other email to recover it. Yeah. Each email recovers each email. I'm going to have to lose all my emails in one day. So, I don't know, man.
Moving on to positive things.
Did you feel better?
Not really.
But you had to let that off your chest.
He's still alive. That's why I don't feel better.
Come on, man. Okay. So let's get into it. So here it is today. It's today like the 15th October?
It is the night of the 14th.
Night of the 14th. So most season premieres have taken place by now.
Mm-hmm. Most of them.
Which one so far are your favorites? I know you watch Flash. I know you watch Supergirl.
So the first episode of Flash wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it has had effects. Mm-hmm. Like I now currently know which timeline they're in. So if you watch Legends of Tomorrow, I think it's like the 4th or 5th episode, they go to 2046, and the Green Arrow is John Diggle's son. And at the end of the second episode of Flash, which has already happened, you find out, or towards the middle of it, like he's basically sitting around and talking to Felicity. And Felicity's his stand-in for Batman, which is really weird. Because you know how the Flash in the comics and Flashpoint, he goes to Batman and he tells him the whole fucking story. Those scenes are him with Felicity instead of him with Batman. So he's like, I don't know what other changes have happened to other people or anything. And so he uses one of her computers to like do a searches to try to see if there's anything that's different on the Arrowverse.
Mm-hmm.
John Diggle now has a son.
Okay, and instead of a
daughter. So now they're living in the 2046 timeline.
And that's the one where John Diggle's son ended up becoming Green Arrow, right?
Yeah, and Green Arrow is, or Oliver Queen is missing an arm because somebody cut it off.
Now,
I think it was
in the comic book, wasn't it?
It was Superman in the comics fucking Gotham, Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
So in Dark Knight Returns, it was Superman who cut his arm off because he wouldn't stop being a vigilante after they put the act through that like made it so that all the vigilantes had to register with the government and work directly for the government. But in this one, in this 2046, his arm had gotten cut off, but it was cut off because I believe the son of Slade Wilson cut his arm off. Yeah, it's fun stuff. I haven't watched the premiere of Legends of Tomorrow yet. I think that was yesterday. I did watch Supergirl. That was the best. Metallo.
Yeah, you've been hyped about that. I still hadn't watched it.
Metallo and Superman and Mon-El.
I've watched The Blacklist. That's all I've watched this season.
What?
The Blacklist and Scream Queens.
You...
I've not watched any of the... Okay, well,
you need to get
I
caught
did
up.
binge watch Luke... Okay, I can't even say I binge watched Luke Cage. I did 2 episodes a night.
Yeah, I did a few episodes a night until I got it done.
Until
We
I
need to talk
knocked it
about
out.
Luke Cage. Because, okay, major spoilers for Luke Cage if you haven't watched Luke Cage.
Yeah, in fact...
All of this is major retroactive spoilers. Like, the whole thing that I just talked about was all spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, here's our thing. We got to just start saying it at the start of the show.
I'll-
Don't listen to us if you haven't watched these episodes.
I'll record a spoiler warning. I'll put it at the beginning of this episode.
Thank you. Okay, cool. Because Luke Cage, phenomenal.
Okay.
And may
so
now be my favorite Netflix series.
This is the funniest shit. Like, I don't know why my brain went to this, but you know in the episode where they're going to go fix him, and Rosario Dawson tells him that they're going to deep fry him, and then they're going to cut him open and they're going to take the things out. Why is the only way that we can fix the bulletproof black man is to deep fry him?
I did think of that.
I was just like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah, what are you going to do? We're going to deep fry you. Then once you soften up, and I was like, are we making chicken or Luke Cage? What the hell are we doing over here?
And then they threw the 11 herbs and spices in there.
It made him even more bulletproof.
They threw all that salt in there. They were just chucking shit in there. She just chucks the burner in there to restart his heart. And then they just chuck a whole bunch of salt in there. And then they just turn it all the way up. Like, they're just like, let's just do things. And
Let's
stuff
make
will
Gumbo
happen.
Luke Cage. That's what they did. I was like, okay.
What didn't make any sense was if you watch that scene, you don't ever see her do it. But she only fixes his shoulder. She doesn't ever actually go and get the shrapnel out of his stomach.
That's all. Yeah, because you never saw, and we knew he was bleeding in his stomach.
Yeah.
So am I supposed to believe that burnt out?
No, I think it was just bad editing. I think there was probably a scene where she reaches down there and she pulls stuff out of his stomach. Or maybe like I just need to watch it again.
No, because it doesn't look like she goes into her stomach. Everything looks like it's up by his shoulder.
Yeah, because
She takes 2 shots, one in the stomach, one in the shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this.
Okay, so
This show had way more bad guys than you could fucking even deal with for season 1. We had Black Mariah. We had Cottonmouth. We had Shades. We had Comanche. We had, God, I can't think of the prison guard's name.
I don't know. He's some racist asshole.
Yeah, Redneck. Okay. Yeah. And then we had Diamondback. So we had damn near Luke Cage's entire bad guy roster season 1. He's dealing with all this shit. Mm-hmm. Who was your favorite? Because there were phenomenal acting jobs all across the board. It was so Game of Thrones-ish.
Yeah.
It was so Game of Thrones-ish. There was just so many moving parts and people were battling and jockeying for position. And I think like Diamondback we knew was the big badass. Okay, we knew he was the big badass. But
we didn't
like Cottonmouth way more.
They kind of tried to do the thing that they did in the first season of Daredevil, where the big bad was just somebody that everybody talked about, and the guy who was the bad guy that you actually saw was basically his henchman. Except the twist was that instance, the henchman was a guy who thought he was the big bad guy.
Yeah, no, shit was crazy.
But yeah, just everything in that show, the music in that show, like whoever did the sound, the music production and the writing and everything, they knew that this comic was from the 70s and that it really hasn't been something that's been kind of ongoing. Mm-hmm. And so they used that 70s vibe via music to enhance everything, to like push it along.
Let me tell you who that guy is, because I'm a big music buff.
Yeah.
So I geeked out over this soundtrack.
Yeah.
Adrian Young. Now a lot of people don't know that name, but Adrian Young was the music supervisor for one of my favorite movies, Black Dynamite.
That's the best fucking movie.
He did that soundtrack.
Who's calling me interrupting my kung fu?
Yes. Adrian Young gave us Dynamite. He did that whole soundtrack, that whole thing that made you think this movie really did take place in the 70s. Adrian Young, composer, young black kid, freaking amazing. He then leaves from that and he does 2 albums with Ghostface Killer of the Wu-Tang Clan. Mm-hmm. And one of the songs, actually, 2 of the songs I think played in the soundtrack. I think in episode 12, maybe around 12 or 11, I've heard the 2 songs play. And on that mixtape that I did online, I don't know if you saw that on my Facebook page, that mixtape I gave a link for it. I'll get it to you. I'll put it on our Team Lift page. But I did a mixtape. Now, every episode was named after a Gang Starr song.
Yeah.
So what I did is you get the Gang Starr song that was episode 1. Then you get all the songs from episode 1. Then episode 2 is the next Gang Starr song. And that's how I built the soundtrack. Yeah. And it ends with Bulletproof Love, which is Adrian Young, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, who was the 3rd member in the beat maker for A Tribe Called Quest, and Method Man, which is a freaking combination from heaven for hip-hop fans.
Yeah.
You're hip-hop junkies lost their ever-loving damn mind.
Speaking of, his fucking cameo was amazing.
Amazing. Okay, dude. Okay, we had Sway, we had Heather B, we had Method Man. This show was so fucking New York.
Yep.
It was so New York. It was like hip-hop fans, New York fans. Okay, that wasn't even the only one. Somebody else showed up, and I kept thinking, okay, Dapper Dan? Mm-hmm. Dapper Dan is really a guy who used to pimp out rides, and like back in the day when, the Cool Modis, the Big Daddy Kanes, and all those guys, and they would have the Jeeps with the polo like upholstery. Dapper Dan was the guy that used to hook those guys up.
Nice.
Dapper Dan was known for that. He's a 80s icon. He was on the show.
Yeah.
When Dapper Dan shows up in your show, you are so entrenched in New York culture. Like when he showed up to outfit Luke for the funeral,
yeah.
I was like, bro, these are like, this is...
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I was geeked out. Like the whole time, every time somebody else would show up, I was like, this is 80s hip hop. You fools don't know what you're getting. I stayed hyped through this whole thing. It's seriously because of all these things that they did and how New York they made the show. I loved it.
Okay, so this was pointed out on Reddit, and I read it and I was like, holy fuck. So when he goes in to steal that money that he stole from Cottonmouth and to like beat everybody up and like open up Fort Knox.
Right.
The song that's playing is Bring the Ruckus. But if you notice, it's the radio edit with no cursing in it because Luke Cage doesn't curse.
Mm-hmm. I totally did not catch that.
I didn't catch it either. Somebody on the internet caught it and I was just like, holy fucking shit. That's awesome.
Yeah, the worst we got out of Luke Cage was Sweet Christmas.
Yeah, because that was him. We were listening to the music that he was listening to in his iPod in that scene.
That's true.
Because he puts his headphones in, he puts the hood up, and he fucking walks the hell in there and beats the ever living shit out of everybody. And like everybody's saying like the fight choreography was bad, and I was like, so? I mean, the fight choreography was bad in every 70s fucking blaxploitation film that ever came out.
Have you not watched Dolomite?
Exactly. Yeah. Like I think that choreography that was in there that everybody considers bad was a stylistic choice done on purpose. I mean, realistically, there's nobody in this whole thing that could stand up to him.
It was a total 70s blaxploitation flick done with a Marvel superhero.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
It was a Marvel. It was a detective story, blaxploitation.
Well, you know,
film.
there is the Luke Cage Noir series, which was a 4-part miniseries.
Yeah.
And Tombstone was in that one, you know, and it told the whole story about how he was actually trying to solve a murder in 1940s Harlem.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a freaking amazing series. So Luke Cage has some really great comic books out there. Reginald Hudlin, I think, did a couple that were pretty awesome when he wasn't doing Black Panther. There's some great Luke Cage stories out there. But for me personally, I think as a guy, you know, I'm 45, so I had old Power Man and Iron Fist comic books. I had Master of Kung Fu comic books. I had these old comic books, in the 70s.
Did you have that one where Luke Cage like flies out to Latveria and pimp slaps Doctor Doom?
I did not, and I wish I did.
Oh, sweet. I was like, watching stuff on the internet. What's his name? The guy from Comics Explained. Rob.
Oh yeah, he does.
He did an episode on that story, and I was just laughing my ass off the whole fucking time.
Dude, okay, in the series,
he flies to Latveria to slap Doctor Doom in the mouth to get him to pay him $200 that he owes him. Like he flew there to slap the taste out of his mouth.
When he had the tiara,
yeah,
and the yellow shirt,
I was just like, oh shit!
I could not. Yeah. It was like, why am I so happy about this one scene? This was like, I don't know. To me, okay, let's face it. When I was a kid, there weren't that many black superheroes.
Yeah.
So when you get the 4 or 5 guys that were black we had Falcon,
yep,
Luke Cage, Black Lightning,
Black Panther,
and Black Panther.
Yeah.
That was it. So
John
already
Stewart.
there were 3 in Marvel, and there was 1 in DC.
Yeah, John Stewart.
John Stewart doesn't show up till later.
Well, John Stewart doesn't show up till later, but there was... So, John Stewart was like, what, the 80s?
He was 80s.
Late 70s, early
He was
80s?
not in the 70s, but he shows up in the 80s. Now, I get him in the 80s, but by that time, I'm in high school,
Yeah.
Junior high school when he shows up.
But the interesting thing about that character is he was actually supposed to have just like some fucking really terrible name. And the guy who was drawing him was like, I want his name to be just I just want him to have a regular name. I just want him to be like John Stewart. And they didn't want to let him do it, and eventually he won, and the character's the way that it is now, which is great.
Because comic books in the 70s were fucked up. Okay, I'm gonna just be honest. I know people don't like to talk about racism these days, but there were caricatures of characters. Like every black hero is not from the hood. Like Wakanda in the 60s being this rich African nation.
Yeah.
And him being the king, that stands out in a little 5-year-old, 6-year-old Roderick's black mind.
Yeah.
That's a very powerful thing. Or that Red Falcon fought alongside Captain America and was his best friend and was a great soldier in his own right. He wasn't just there in Cap's shadow. And that was kind of cool to me. That was just like, so to see guys like that as a kid, now, black kids get superheroes all the time. They're used to it. Cyborg's a member of the Justice League. He was a founding member of the Teen Titans. They're used to seeing
Static Shock.
Yeah, they're
John
used
Stewart.
to seeing black characters now.
Yeah. I mean, even now, technically, there's not really that many of them, but they're
It
more
was
prominent
less
now.
when I was a kid.
Yeah, they're more prominent now, but
yeah, not only they're more prominent, they're more well written. They're not these. I'm from the hood and I got to represent and fighting gangs and shakedowns and I'm a cold stone player laying down my game on the ladies. And I'm like, are they pimps? I don't know what they are.
What's happening?
Are they pimps taking on the man?
But yeah,
trying to get them for their bread?
Just having John Stewart have just a regular name and to have him have a good job doing something that wasn't the norm for that period, for that type of character, like, was awesome. Like having him be an architect.
Bro, when the Martian Manhunter became a black Chicago police detective, I'm not sure I didn't cry, but that was a powerful statement made by DC to me.
Yeah.
That he was a black Chicago. Out of all the identities he could have taken, he's been here on the planet. He knows that black people did not get a fair shaking on some shit, and that's still what he chooses to be. I thought, wow, DC, way to take a gamble. And that's where people always say, hey, man, race shouldn't play in everything. Fuck you, it's America. Race plays into everything.
Yeah.
Race is in everything. And for us to say it shouldn't be, then you're a fucking idiot. It is. And so...
Well, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
We're not going to put on blinders and say that
Oh,
it's not that fucking way.
I don't see race. You're a liar. Anybody that tells me that pisses me off. So in comic books, when I saw Star Wars as a kid and Lando showed up, he was the first black guy in space. Think about it. There was no Star Wars movie. There were no black people before Lando showed up.
Yeah.
And then they got the coolest, smoothest son of a bitch from the 70s and 80s.
And then they made him betray the best character in the fucking series.
And then he has to redeem himself by flying the Millennium Falcon and understanding the Wookiee and saving it. And I was like, y'all have fucked me up. This is like my hero shows up and he's an asshole. Thank you, George Lucas. But George Lucas is married to a black woman, so he gets a pass. So I'm giving him that. I don't think George is racist. He did Red Tails. He's married to a black woman.
I think if you look at it in the context of the story, Lando really didn't have a fucking choice. Like,
he was trying to protect his people.
He was trying to protect his people, and I'm pretty sure that if he hadn't capitulated, he would have been dead.
Oh yeah, no, you were fucking directly with Darth Vader. You gonna cop it, or you gonna
Darth
get
Vader shows
choked.
up on your door and says you're gonna do this shit. You're gonna fucking do it, or he's gonna kill you.
You got to sell out some people when Darth Vader shows up. I'm sorry, that's just the rules. I didn't make that rule.
I would have done it
in
a heartbeat,
bro. Yeah,
I ain't fucking with Darth Vader.
It'd be you selling me out, and I say, really, Brandon? You say Darth Vader, and I'm gonna be like, okay, I understand. I really am gonna be pissed. I'm gonna say, can I go pee first before I go in this carbon? But I'm gonna understand. I'm going to understand when you do it. I'm just, damn it, just let me pee first. But yeah, I don't know. It was cool. I'm a huge Luke Cage fan. The Iron Fist. Oh my God, the Iron Fist trailer.
Yeah,
looks so good. So good.
It looks good, but for some reason I'm just not excited.
Bro, how can you not? Have you not heard his whole? Okay,
I've heard his whole story.
Because I'm about to say, Comic Books Explained does a great job.
Yeah.
But so does Emergency Awesome.
Yeah.
They do a great story on YouTube about Iron Fist.
My problem with that character is I wish that they would have done it the way that Mark Bernardin explained it when he was talking with Kevin Smith on the Fat Man on Batman podcast. Mm-hmm. He basically said that it shouldn't be a white actor. It should be an Asian actor who grew up in America, who then has to go through the same culture shock, fish out of water story that a white guy in Asia would have to go through. But he's American and he's Asian. So he's an American through and through, but he's got to go back to Asia to learn this art and then come back to America and try to reintegrate with American society. I think that's a better and more dynamic story than what we're going to get with Danny Rand this time around.
And that's true, but I think we're so used to Danny Rand now at this point has been the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
I mean, all we know is he's a white guy that was really good at Kung Fu. While the Master of Kung Fu series, which had, what was his name, Shin-Chi, he really was an Asian man. He looked like freaking Bruce Lee. The Master of Kung Fu comics were amazing in the 70s.
Yeah.
And that was an Asian man who was basically fighting ninjas and the hand and crazy supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
And so, to me, to see these guys coming in, like, if he shows up in the Iron Fist comics, it's a wrap on me, man. We're going to have to get me a straight jacket because I'm going to lose my ever-loving shit if he shows up. If the Master of Kung Fu shows up in Iron Fist, I'm calling in. I'm calling in sick. I got to take time off. I'm going to need to be alone for a few days. Yes.
Furious masturbation. That was
just
the
not
hand signal that I just made.
Not going to be right.
Furious masturbation.
I'm going to be like, these pants are ruined.
I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be bad. And I'm probably going to be super excited when it comes out.
Right.
But I don't have that level of anticipation that I did for Luke Cage, or even for Jessica Jones, for that matter.
Yeah. You know, Tommy hates Jessica Jones, and we always talk about Tommy. And for people listening, we're talking about our boy Tommy, Mr. Rogers, over there on the oh my gosh, why can't I? Oh, Chainsaw 8.
Yep.
Yeah, the Chainsaw 8 podcast, and we had Jay Dig in here. We need to get Tommy on. I want to kind of get into Tommy's head about this. He did not like Jessica Jones. I don't know why he didn't like it. I still to this day, and I say, man, it really followed the comic book. It was more from the Max series. It was very edgy. It was very dark.
That's the thing is, like, that show was not meant to be lighthearted. It was meant to make you feel uncomfortable.
And
that might be why he doesn't like it, because it's literally meant specifically to make you feel uncomfortable. Just the shit that she went through.
Okay, let's be honest.
Repeatedly.
We're dealing with a woman who was raped.
Actually, no, she wasn't. That's the thing. In the comics, he never actually touched her. What he did was he made her want him implicitly at all times, just want him sexually, and he would not sleep with her. He would fuck other women in front of her.
Yeah, that's true.
To psychologically torture her. That's more fucked up.
It really is.
I mean, it's really fucked up. Rape is completely and utterly fucked up, but that to me seems even more fucked up.
Yeah, no, you're just a piece of shit human being at this point. I'm going to create a desire in you to want me, but I'm not going to give you to me. Now in the show, she's raped. He's raping her. He's having sex with her.
Yeah.
So, and to me, at this point, now we're dealing with a woman who has all these superpowers and can lift freaking cars over her head, but she's run into a guy who was able to take the control from her and rape her repeatedly.
Yeah.
And that's a fucked up, powerful story that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
And as a father of 5 girls, this story really starts getting me at, but if that was my daughter, So I'm immediately in her corner. From here on out, boom, I'm Jessica Jones down. And she's not a very likable person, and I think we go on this journey with her to figure out what made her so bitter and what made her so angry and why she's the way she is. I loved her as a character. In the comic books, I love her as the wife of Luke Cage.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what the series is doing with the night nurse and Luke Cage.
So I think that relationship has gotten repaired a little bit, because I think Luke Cage is pissed off at his wife, or late wife, because of the stuff that he found out by looking at the videos that were on the thumb drive.
And that she was in on it the whole time.
Yeah, and I think that's changed something fundamentally in the way that he views that relationship, and I don't think that he quite holds the grudge against Jessica Jones for it.
And I loved how they talked. They mentioned Jessica quite a few times in this show. Jessica gets brought up to, the shotgun blast at point blank range. And so what one of my buddies did is he watched Luke Cage first. And then he went back to Jessica Jones. He said, I skipped Jessica Jones. But they kept talking about her, so I felt like I need to go watch Jessica Jones. He said, now I'm having a freaking blast with Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
And I said, it was awesome for me because I watched Jessica, then went to Luke.
Yeah.
And now I kind of want to go back to Jessica because there were so many references back to her and that thumb drive and everything.
Sweet Jesus. David Tennant plays an amazing bad guy.
David Tennant fucked me up in that show.
Because, for me, that's the 10th Doctor. He's always going to be the 10th Doctor. But, motherfucker.
He was the most brutal. Kilgrave was the most brutal villain. I mean, he's Joker level.
Yeah.
Brutal. That's seriously. There's certain people who can do repulsive things with no conscience. The Joker, Black Mask, those are all, classic Batman villains. Kilgrave does some pretty repulsive shit.
Yeah.
And he doesn't blink. It's all justified to him.
Yeah, because he can do whatever he wants to.
Man, it was crazy. It was crazy. Man, it was such a good. So I say we're both. So right now, we're giving them scale of 1 to 10. Where am I on Supergirl right now? Your rating.
Supergirl, 8.5 to 9.
Okay. Flash.
Flash is sitting at an 8 right now.
Ooh, so even under Supergirl.
It's the reason why is because I don't like the direction that they went with Flashpoint wasn't the direction that I would have taken with Flashpoint. Although they fucked everything up because of the way that they resolved Flashpoint. Because the way that the Flashpoint's supposed to be resolved in the comics is that Barry goes back into the Speed Force and he finds himself and he knocks himself out of the Speed Force to prevent himself from ever showing up, which sets the timeline exactly where it needs to be. In this one, he's basically forced at the end of the episode to allow Thawne to kill his mother. And so that change in the timing of her death, like when the death actually happened, because it happened minutes to seconds before or after it was supposed to, and how it wound up shaking out, changed everything. It created a whole bunch of problems between people where problems didn't exist before. And that's all well and good. And Barry was basically bitch slapped by one of the other Flashes when he did actually try to go back and knock himself out of the Speed Force, and got knocked out of the Speed Force himself and got sat down and told, look, you can't fucking fix this. You just have to live with it. This is the way that things are going to be.
Right.
And so I think that it's going to start. It's getting better though. Like episode 2 was really good. Episode 3 is going to have Jesse Quick in it. Like actual like Jesse Quick, like speedster. And so Tom Cavanaugh's coming back too. So that's going to be good. So I think as the season goes through its cycle, it's going to get a lot better.
Okay.
But I just think that the Flashpoint start for it was weak. Haven't watched Legends of Tomorrow yet. Luke Cage is the best. It's perfect 10.
I hate to say this because it's going to sound so biased. It is my 10. It was a straight up 10 out of 10. Yeah. And what it did for me is it got me hyped for Iron Fist.
Yeah.
But it got me more hyped for a Defender series.
You know what I'm hyped for? That fucking metal arm.
Oh my god. Okay. So you're thinking what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that reads the comic book and is familiar with Misty Knight knows that she gets a cybernetic arm made out of adamantium from Tony Stark.
Yep.
Because she gets her arm injured in the line of duty. And it was her right arm. So when I saw her take a bullet in her right arm,
I went, oh,
and they started talking about she's going to lose the arm, the hard on I sported was so amazing.
Just banging up against the table.
Happy.
Yeah.
I was like, if Tony Stark shows up and gives her this arm, that's all he got to say is his name.
No, okay. So I don't even want it to be Tony Stark who shows up and gives her. You know who I want it to be? Because he's already proven that he'll work on television and he doesn't care. I want fucking Samuel L. Jackson to just show up out of nowhere with a fucking metal arm that was designed by Stark.
By Stark Industries.
To give it to Misty Knight. That's what I want.
Can we just not go to Kevin Feige and say, make this happen, please? Just make this happen. Kevin, we don't want a lot from you.
Just do it.
This one thing. Because, man, okay, Misty Knight proved to be a badass.
Because, you know, you have to know that one, Director Fury is out there somewhere.
He's got to be.
And 2, he has access to everything. They've got to have fucking like some kind of prototype replacement metal arm laying around in some fucking building somewhere. I mean, if they got fucking that suit that they had last season in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that you can put on that gives you super strength. And we've already seen...
Let us look at the strength Diamondback wore in Luke Cage.
Well, not even that. That's Hammer Tech. And then... if you go even further back to the guy from the first season, Deathlock, who has a metal fucking leg and a metal arm. So the technology is already there. Director Fury already has access to it. And what better person to give it to her than another black superhero?
Yeah, man.
It's so perfect. It just writes itself.
There's just so much. Like, there are things you see in this season and you go, okay, we've set Black Mariah up now. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, my thing, Black Mariah in the comic book, and she's in the new Luke Cage and Power Man comic book, she was always this kind of heavy-set big girl, around the way girl. And she, kind of a hood character. She was always in the hood. She, did that whole thing with, gangs and petty thefts and stuff. Alfred Woodard's portrayal of Black Mariah as a councilwoman, a politician, from a really crooked background, has it in her, seems a little mentally unhinged, talking to the pictures and all that. Man, such a powerful portrayal. Like, everything about that series, I geeked out on. It was like, you reworked it into a better story. It is a more each character was fully realized. The episode where we see the moment where Cottonmouth became his turning point, the first kill.
Yeah.
That was powerful. I watched that episode. I watched episode 7 twice. I rarely watch these twice. I stopped myself. 7 had my jaw hit the ground. I had to watch it twice.
Yeah. And apparently, like, when they sent out, how they send out the press copies to, like, let them do a review of the series, they only sent them the first 7 episodes. So they didn't give them, like, it ended for the press people at him getting beat to death by...
Black Mariah.
Exactly.
By Mariah. Oh, my God, dude. It was... You had no idea what was coming next.
Yeah.
That second act of that series it felt like 2 full series were happening. It was like, here's season 1, here's season 2 in this one season. It was so good, so well acted, so many amazing actors, so much talent.
I was so fucking pissed off about Pop.
You knew it was going to happen. It's a Marvel show.
I knew it was going to happen from the second that they got in. The second that he got that call from Turk about him being there at the shop, I knew. I was just like, Pop's going to fucking die. She's like, God damn it, why is Pop's going to die?
He's got, dude.
But he's got to die.
Disney movies and Marvel movies. Somebody who's the heart of the show has to either die or be put in danger to force the hero's hand.
Yeah.
Marvel and Disney, they write the same damn movies for years. They've done this, and we knew it was going to happen. I do like the use of Turk, though, from Daredevil.
Yeah, that was the other thing, too, is like, why didn't Turk have a fucking, like, cast on at least one of his arms? Because Daredevil broke both his fucking arms in season 2.
What? No, my favorite line was, I'm going back to Hell's Kitchen where it's safer.
Yeah.
And that was, to me, was like, you've had both your arms broke by the Daredevil, and that's safer to you? Because it explained him leaving. You know, that gave reason. Why would he be here?
Yeah.
If you watch Daredevil, I got my arms broken. I got the fuck out of Hell's Kitchen as quick as I could.
Yeah, and then, so I love how they use that same thing in Supergirl. In the first episode, there's this, like, family. Like, shit's falling down from the fucking sky, and this family's like, well, that's it. We're moving back to Gotham. And I was like, you're going to move to Gotham? What the fuck? You got a superhero in this fucking shit, and you're going to go back to Gotham?
Yeah. We got stuff falling through the walls. We're done. We're done here, man. We don't like this place. That was awesome. I did love that. So, man, and dude, I'm going to tell you, my superhero is, I love Red on the Blacklist. He's my superhero. And yes, they have a comic book, but it was based on the TV show. And he's an evil, evil man, and I love it this season.
He's not evil, though.
Bro.
He's just...
He don't say he's misunderstood. He's evil.
He's not evil. He just doesn't care. Like, he's more interested in winning than anything. Like, if he can fuck somebody over and win, he will. And it doesn't matter who it is. I love that series. I need to go back and watch it. I watched season 1 and 2, and then I didn't watch 3. I need to watch 3 and
I'm
get caught up,
bro. That's my show. It's not a lot of shows that I watch actively. Scream Queens and Blacklist. Those are my two. I don't know why those two are my most awesome two, but I really got to force myself to sit down, and I'm going to have to watch. I got to get caught up on Supergirl. My brother says it's on demand, so I'm going to spend some time this weekend when I'm not trying to beat Unravel and platinum a bunch of games that I'm trying to beat. I got to get caught up on games for the year ends. I will be sitting down and getting caught up. So,
yeah.
All right.
But you're gonna love Supergirl. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, my wife loves season 1. I didn't do season 1. Well, you know my whole story. I skipped Legends of Tomorrow. I skipped Supergirl. It's kind of like, watch that, and that looked cool, but I didn't watch it. And now she's like, you really need to sit down and watch all of these.
You really need to.
And when my wife, who doesn't collect comic books, tells you that,
yeah. And
tomorrow's a big day. I still haven't picked up issue 1 of Champions. Came out this last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't pick that up. So I got reading to do. So there's going to be some stuff. I'm going by the comic book shop. I got to pick up Champions. I'm picking up Josie and the Pussycat. Yes, they rebooted the whole series.
What?
Yes, I found a variant edition of the first issue, and I'm picking it up. Bro, it's Josie and the Pussycats.
I know, I understand that, but I don't see why it needs a reboot.
Because they rebooted the whole Riverdale series. So it's no longer Archie, it's Riverdale. Mm-hmm. And it's more like a realistic looking guy instead of the comic book Archie we've grown up with.
Yeah.
And it's more realistic love stories and stories of friendship.
So we didn't need the Josie and the Pussycats movie. We don't need a new fucking comic book series either.
They rebooted the whole comic book series, and it's really about 3 girls working hard for the money, trying to make their band popular. And I was like, they rebooted the series, yeah. And, like, there's a lot of press for it, yeah. And there are, like, 5 variant covers for it, yeah. And I was like, yeah, let me go get one of these variant covers. I got to get some of this action. Bro, like, right now, if you start looking at it, I want you to spend some time. They did this whole thing, like, Afterlife with Archie, which is this whole, like, zombie story from in the Archie universe.
What?
Yeah, it's like really dark and demented, and everybody's dying, and that thing sold like hotcakes. Like first issues are going for $30 now, bagged and tagged. So I'm like, when an Archie comic book comes out, I don't know who's buying that shit, but I picked up a variant cover because it's going to be collectible. I had to do it.
Okay.
I had to do it. Now, we did a lot of talk about TV. Bro, hit me up with this. You were telling me something about Forrest Whitaker is going to be in the Black Panther movie.
Yeah, we've added yet another cast member to Black Panther.
Which is already a star-studded black cast.
Yep.
Hit me in. Had they said who he's playing? What's going on with this?
Hold on. Let's find out.
I got to know this story because you hit me with this, and I was kind of like, bruh, wait a minute. Slay, what? Who's in this?
Everybody's in it.
Yeah, if you're black, you're in this movie. That's what they should just come out and say. Like, I may actually get a guest role in this movie before
Zuri.
everything is.
He's going to be an elder statesman in Wakanda named Zuri.
Oh, my God. And then Kasumba will reprise her Captain America role as a member of the Dora Milaje, which we saw her when her and Black Widow were about to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh, this is going to be such a good movie.
What we need is Luke Cage in Wakanda.
Bruh, Wakanda ain't ready for Luke Cage. And Harlem ain't ready for Black Panther. Nope, we are not ready. Okay, man, look at this, man. Whitaker. Man, bro, I wonder how old he is now. I really want to know because Forrest Whitaker is like, it's hot this year. Here he is. He's going to be in Black
Star
Panther.
Wars, and he's going to be in Black Panther.
And he's in that Arrival movie. He's in the Arrival. He's doing that one, and that's coming this Christmas. Or this November. So he's got, like, Forrest Whitaker.
1961. I did not even realize he was from Texas.
Bro, he's from Longview, Texas?
I did not even know that.
Here. Okay, so wait. If his birthday was July 15th, 1961, and this is 2016.
That's a big number.
He's 55. This dude is working his ass off at 55. So he's got Rogue One. We know that's coming this December. Then we got
Black Panther.
That's in pre-production. That's a 2018 release. He's doing The Forgiven, where he plays as Desmond Tutu. That's a 2017 release. He plays Reverend Kennedy in a movie that's in pre-production called The Burden. Then Finding Steve McQueen, he's filming that one, and that he plays Howard Lambert in it. He plays Colonel Weber in The Arrival. We get that in November. And then we get Star Wars Rogue One. Bro, working his ass off at 55. Which is kind of weird, man, because for a while it seemed like the only black guy that was doing movies was like, it was like they only went to two guys, man. You were either Morgan Freeman or Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Those look like the only two black guys that they knew in Hollywood to play older black guy roles.
Yeah.
And now Denzel's making a comeback again. Kind of good to see Denzel back on the screen. Now Forrest Whitaker's making a comeback. That means there's hope for me. At 45, I can make this work.
You can do it.
I can play older black guys in a movie. You know who I want to be? I'll be honest with you. If they do a live action version of Left 4 Dead 2, I'm going to give it my everything to be the role of Coach in that movie.
But the guy who is Coach
is still alive.
Well, the guy who is Coach from Left 4 Dead, who did the voice for it and provided the character model likeness, he's in The Walking Dead, or was in The Walking Dead.
Well, he was in The Walking Dead. Yeah, we're talking about Tyrese.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in The Walking Dead. And it's cool, man. I still want to be Coach. I look like he provided the likeness. I look like that son of a bitch. I think somebody saw me walking through the mall and went, there's our guy. We don't want his voice. We're just going to digitize that fat ass over there, and he's a video game character now. And a badass at that. Yeah, so I got to get in that. I got to get in on that gig. Man, so what else do we got going on? So we know Forrest Whitaker's going to be in there. Another huge one. We also know Sigourney Weaver
is going to be the bad guy in Defenders.
Which, okay, first of all, bad guys in Marvel TV shows are amazing. Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin is amazing. The Punisher, this last season, what was his name? God, he was on Walking Dead, and I can't think of the guy's name, man.
I know.
Played Shane on Walking Dead, but yeah, he was amazing as the Punisher. He really was amazing. He totally brought the Punisher to life on screen.
Mm-hmm.
But Cottonmouth, like, I never thought I hated Cottonmouth. I watched episode 7 and I felt so bad for Cottonmouth, like, and I loved it. He was so complex and he was so well written. And then you're telling me you're going to get an Academy Award winning actress like Sigourney Weaver to come do a Marvel Netflix TV show?
Mm-hmm. And who the fuck is she going to be? Like, I mean,
bro, I don't even think they've said who she's going to be. Like, there's no mention of which Marvel villain she's playing.
anything. It's this goddamn website.
Oh, bro, you started bringing in like, I was like, you just go drop the bass on me?
No. Jesus.
You just dropping the bass?
There's something about fucking websites that just decide they want to drop fucking videos on you when you're looking at them. They can all go fucking die.
Oh, you were telling me about this. This is a cool story. Supergirl's James Olsen will become another DC superhero.
Yeah, he's actually going to be the Guardian.
Because the guy who ran around with the shield, right?
Yeah, it's basically like the Captain America for DC.
Right.
Captain America analog. They thought initially that Dig was going to be the Defender.
Yeah, because I remember you were telling me, yo, man, it's really looking like they're going to make Diggle take on that role.
Yeah, but he's not the Defender. He's somebody else. I mean, technically, you could just say that he's the Defender and Diggle's the Defender because they're on two different Earths. But I don't think that Diggle is officially the Defender.
Dude, I'm kind of geeked out about this, which is even more of a reason for me to watch it. But this is what kills me about that. How are you going to be the Guardian? And Jimmy Olsen was never really he was a paper guy, you know?
Yeah.
How are we making Jimmy Olsen now? James Olsen.
Because he's James Olsen, that's why.
So now he's going from...
He's not Jimmy Olsen,
you
he's
don't call
James
me Jimmy,
Olsen.
I'm James. And I'm up in here whooping ass.
Exactly.
Laying it down, take it out the bed.
What I don't understand is why they're going to bother to go with the arc of him not telling Melissa Benoist, or I should say Kara, that he's, running around doing the vigilante thing. Because, I mean, he's going to be in the same city as her, and he's going to start popping up and doing vigilante shit, and he doesn't think that Supergirl's going to figure out who it is?
Here's my question. Doesn't she have X-ray vision, too?
Yeah. She has
Can't she
all
just
the
see
same,
through the mask?
She has all the same powers as Superman. If he makes his mask out of lead, no.
Yeah, but who's going to run around with a lead mask?
But seriously, like, all she has to do is just, like, run up and grab him and take him in the air and pull his fucking mask off.
Exactly. That's where comic books.
It's like it doesn't make any sense that he's gonna hide it from her because he can't possibly hide it from her.
Yeah, I will figure this one out, man. I can't wait to see where they go with this one. But yeah, he's not gonna tell her.
He's not gonna tell her.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that'll last for like an episode, maybe.
Come on, man. They gotta let that try to spoil out. And then, can I trust him? He couldn't even trust me with his identity.
But that's the thing is, like, they're already broken up.
It's still weird.
Because, like, they started to get together towards the end of the last season. And then in the beginning of this season, they break up. And I guess, like, he's just... After he breaks up with her, he's just like, I gotta become a superhero. It's the only way I can get my jollies.
Yeah. That's what happens after every one of my breakups. I go out and start fighting crime to get the best way to get over a woman is to
punch a guy in the dick.
Yeah, it's to put on a costume and be a vigilante. That's everybody's saying. I don't think that's how that line goes. That's how it goes in comic book world.
It worked for the Punisher.
Damn.
That's fucking dark, isn't it?
Damn. Whoa. Whoa. We are Whoa. I'm going to apologize for anybody that heard that. We got to apologize. That was the darkest thing we've ever said on this show. And you work with me. We've said some dark things, but that may take the record right there. I mean, we've said... I remember the watermelon story. I'm still telling the watermelon story. Like, what's up with that watermelon? And the Wonder Woman and Whataburger lawsuit story. So, you may have just told the darkest joke we've ever told on Team Live. You're not a good person right now, sir. You are not a good person. I don't even know if I can finish this. Oh my God. I got tears in my eyes trying to hold that in. So dark. So dark. I'm so sorry, America. I am so sorry.
As dark as his trench coat.
Oh, man. We may need to tap out while we are ahead, man, because that was dark. I do. Before we get out of here, there's one other TV show. I know we're big fans of it.
What?
Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Now, just the reason I'm bringing this up is this was pretty much our TV show, our new fall TV show kind of lineup thing, and we've been looking at. But something about this tripped me out, and it was from you.
Yeah.
You sent me the numbers, and you said this thing is pulling a 99% score from Rotten Tomatoes and a 96% average audience score.
Yeah. That's because Ash is amazing.
And Sam Raimi and Ivan Raimi.
Well, that's the thing is like Sam Raimi and Ivan Raimi, like Sam
They
Raimi
created this whole thing.
Well, yeah, they created it, but Sam Raimi wrote and directed the first episode, but since then he's just in a executive producer role. He's not doing anything else.
Really?
So like other people are writing and directing and producing episodes for it.
Man, this is so crazy.
But yeah, that just started. The original movies are like seminal horror. Like you have to watch them. They're not even really horror films. They're comedy films that just didn't realize they were comedies at the time.
Yeah, because they were so dark and bloody and disgusting.
So like after the first one came out, when it went in before audiences and audiences were laughing at it, they kind of picked up on that and they just rolled with it in the second and the third films. And it just kind of got wackier and wackier, and then they stopped making them. And the show just continues that. It's just like, we know this is insanity. We know this is crazy and it's silly, but goddamn is it fun to watch.
And now here's the thing that messed me up. Did you see the Evil Dead remake movie?
Yeah.
Now that was some brutal ass flick, bro. That was brutal. There ain't nothing funny about that damn film.
So the studio tried to reboot the film without Sam Raimi, and Sam Raimi was like, you ain't doing this film without me. I'm getting involved. If you're gonna make this remake, I'm gonna be a part of it. Mm-hmm. So he came in and did the executive producer thing, and that's why that movie actually wasn't bad. I mean,
no, that movie was not bad, but it was brutal as hell, man.
Yeah.
It is not. I told many of my friends, they were like, I love horror movies. I watch a lot of horror movies, and I have my team that we go and watch them together. We went and watched Don't Breathe. We went and did, The Purge.
Speaking of Don't Breathe, I just watched that, but we'll talk
Such
about
a good
that later.
movie. Yeah. So I mean, we do this as a team, and I don't know why we don't do that on the podcast, but it's another story for another day. But yeah, we go watch these horror movies together. That thing, when I watched Evil Dead, the remake, I told people, I came out of it and was like, that was not what I expected. That was a full-out horror movie.
Yeah.
That was meant to put the jumps in you.
Yeah, and it was meant to be scary. And then on the other hand of it, too, like you notice that they made the main character's name is female, but her name is Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then if you watch through it, at the end credits, Bruce Campbell shows up in the end credits.
Yeah.
Groovy, baby. Yeah, so he's in, but most people didn't watch through the credits. You know me, I'm a junkie. Marvel has trained me well. Watch through the credits, see what happens. Yeah. I need to see what happens in the movies now. So that was one of the things where I was pleasantly surprised by watching through the end credits to see what would happen. But yeah, so I liked the first season of this show. I didn't get to watch all of it. I did watch a chunk of it. I'm recording this one now.
The only complaint that I could possibly have about this show is just the fact that it has 30-minute episodes and there's only 10 of them. That's my only complaint. I can't find anything else wrong with it. It's stupid, fun, awesome. It has great visual effects.
That was what I thought the first season.
Yeah.
Every episode was like, this is goofy, and I can't turn away from this. I love this show. It was vulgar. It was crass. It was immature. Okay. This is Evil Dead. This is Ash versus Evil Dead. And you're doing this on TV.
They even did that dumb shit like that he did in the original, or not in the original, but in Army of Darkness, where like they built him another hand, and they did it with like the stupidest things possible. Like he pulls out a box full of like old game controllers and shit, and like builds him an artificial hand that's like better than any artificial hand built by people who actually know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. I love this. This show never takes itself too seriously, but for it to get a 99 average tomato meter and then to be a 96 with audiences, and that's based on all critics combined, that's pretty impressive, and it's definitely worth the watch. And if you've taken any advice from us and started listening to, reading comic books or watching movies based on our advice, we're going to tell you right now, you need to be on Stars and watching this show. It's crazy good.
Get to it however you can get to it.
Yeah.
Whether, it'd be on Stars or is it on a streaming service? Is it on Netflix? I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think it is. I'll look into that, but I don't think it is. I think it seriously is a Stars only thing, but it's definitely some cool stuff going on with it. Man, we really covered a lot of comic book information. Anything else you want to cover before we get out of here?
No, that's it. Let's go.
Man, all right, we're out of here. It's been awesome hanging out with you guys once again. Thank you for listening to the show. We did another big scoop. We got some more big stars coming to the show. This is a huge freaking scoop, thanks to me. I'm going to take credit for this one, too.
You can take credit for it. I wasn't going to do that.
Okay, we met, I think we've said it before. We've had to do the disclaimer. Brandon and I work for a video game company, and even though we work for that video game company, we have very strong opinions. And because of our strong opinions, our video game company doesn't always like to be associated with us. But sometimes we get cool access to cool people.
Yep.
And this was one of the times where we got a scoop because we got to go see something real cool. We can't talk about it due to our non-disclosure agreement, but we're going to have some amazing guest stars on here pretty soon. And it's going to be another big, I'd almost say this is as big as when we had the guys from DICE on here.
Yeah.
This is as big as that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's for the fans of this IP that these guys are connected to, this is going to be a can't miss episode.
But we'll tell you more about it later.
We definitely will. We will tell you way more about this later, but it's coming soon. All right, I'm out of here. Anything big this weekend for you?
Nope.
All right, man. Well, it's going to be a lot of comic books, manga, and TV and video games for me. Everybody, have an amazing weekend. We're out. Thanks for listening to the Team Lift Podcast with your hosts, Brendan Bowie and Roderick McDaniel. Join us again next week as we discuss more topics from geek culture. Be sure to follow us on our Twitter page @GoTeamLift, as well as our personal pages @Coach Silky and @ThighSide. You can direct questions and comments to us on our Twitter page, as well as find links to all of our social media outlets. Thank you for listening. See you again next week.